Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass and Move. For today's episode, we've got a new series for you here. We're not doing the Manchester United series anymore. We've ended that. If you missed it out, then you should definitely check it out. We won the FA Cup in the last episode of that series completely. And so for the new series, we decided to go with the club called Parma. I'm sure everyone's heard of this club before. Italian club who've dropped down quite heavily into the Italian Serie D. Obviously, they got promoted last year, so we'll be playing in the Serie C. And the goal is obviously to get promoted all the way to the top again. And if I'm not mistaken, the history of it all is that they were in too much debt and they had to reform their club basically. And since they did that, they got promoted straight away, and now they're debt free and. Not too bad of a club basically, but yeah, aim is to get them all the way to the top, and we've already gone through pre-season. As you can see here, it's 28th of August, and we do have the first game of the Serie C season to start with. So if you just have a quick look at the table, the aim is to get promoted, whether you do that through winning the title. That's the only way you get an automatic promotion, but otherwise you've got about 8 spots here to aim for to try and get into. This takes you into the playoff spots, and then you have to try and get promoted through that. So yeah, if you just have a look at the board expectations, it just says reach playoff spots, so any of these will be fine, but the media expect us to end the season in the second place. And as for the Italian Serie C Cup, the board don't expect anything basically. They don't consider it as an important competition, but we did already play 2 games of those, and we have qualified for the next round. The reason being I didn't show you those games was obviously because I don't think it really mattered much. The aim is the Serie C League, and so we've got the very first game of the season for you here. We actually even played a friendly in between those 2 games of the Cup, so you can tell that, it didn't really matter much. In terms of the friendlies though, these were already pre-arranged by the board. I didn't really change any of them, and we did okay. A couple of silly losses, but a couple of nice wins too. But in the end of the day, they're friendlies, and it's all about building fitness and just building fitness and trying to get the team used to the tactics essentially. And what we're going to be working with this season is a 4-4-2 to try and get the best out of all our players. And we're going to be playing direct football, unlike the United save where we played short possession sort of stuff. So we're going to be playing direct football. Just suits this team more. We've got a box-to-box midfielder, in Scavoni, who's one of the key players in the club, and we've got 2 target men, but unfortunately I'm going to have to play one of them as an advanced forward. We can't play 2 target men who are both quality players in the same team. It just doesn't make sense. So Emmanuel is a bit more suited to playing an advanced forward compared to his teammate, and so we're going to be using him there a little bit more than Felice here in target man, who isn't. Well, I mean, he probably can play as an advanced forward, but he's a bit more comfortable playing as a target man on support. In terms of the transfers, so we're just going to have a quick look at transfer history. We've let go of 2 players who couldn't play in the club whatsoever. We had we needed left midfielder, of course, but he's an inside forward. He's not suited to the winger role whatsoever, so we sold him and just brought other players in. And also we've got Daniel Melandri, who's just a shadow striker, so he completely didn't have not even a position at this club whatsoever, so we sold him too as well. So a combined 110 total of outs. And we only spent 100 bringing 1 player in who is a striker. The only player that we actually paid for, he is 100% an advanced forward in terms of his attributes, but my assistant thinks that he could do some other roles a little bit better. He can do the other roles, but I think he's more suited to advanced forward role, and he'll be playing there as a backup to one of the previous strikers we mentioned. I forgot who he was. I think it was Emmanuel who's playing. Yeah, Emmanuel. He's 34 years of age, so he is going to eventually decline, and that's when our new striker, Mitchell Marconi, who's 27 years of age and should be hitting his peak, will be coming into the side if ever someone's in bad form or starts to decline. But the other ins is 1 lone player. We needed a left winger. His attributes have dropped a little bit, but his main key attributes are quite good. He's got a nice little crossing there, a decent bit amount of pace in this division, and he's 21 years of age and he's only a loan anyways. The only other free transfer is Francesco Mazzarani. Apparently his best position is a fullback, which is probably just about right, but he's really capable as a winger too. Got great crossing, acceleration, technique and passing and those sort of things. He is, I think, a backup. No, actually he's not a backup. But anyways, we'll see how they get on. So far we have played well in competitive games, we won everything, but this is the first game of the season technically in terms of the league. So I think we can just get into today's game. I'm pretty sure we covered everything, but yeah, we had to retrain a couple of players such as Manuel, retrain him as a right midfielder instead because we don't have a position for an attacking midfielder right, and that's pretty much it. Most of the backup players aren't really fit just yet. I've given most of them game time to the first team players, and that's just basically to try and get them as quickly as possible fit. Eventually the others will catch up for sure, but we'll get into today's game against, I don't even know, I don't even want to say that name, Sambedet, something like that. But either way, we're the home team, I think. If this thing ever loads, we'll get a clearer chance to look at it. And yeah, we are the home team. We are favourites, and it is Sambenetesi. Yeah, if anyone can say that, then just tell me in the comment section. But we are expected to win this game in terms of the odds, and even the expert thinks it's going to be a close call. But he's going to go for us as the team to win, and they're also playing with a 4-4-2 here. And considering that we're still a smaller team, the 4-4-2 sort of suits the lower league levels more often than not. It's hard to find, you know, decent advanced playmakers and specialized roles and those sort of things. But yeah, this is the team we're going to be going with today. It's going to be tough saying any of these names, but the key players are the box-to-box midfielder, as I mentioned earlier, and our strikers. They're the ones who are the best players in the team. And hopefully we can rely on them all season long and no one gets injured. But yeah, we're going to have to tell my players that we expect them to win here. And let's see if they can perform on their pitch for the first game of the league. And the first two games in the cup competitions wasn't bad at all, actually. But we're going to need more than just okay to get on in this season. We are aiming for promotion. It's definitely what the board expect, and they'll probably expect it for next season too. Parma are a club that are expecting to climb all the way back to Serie A as soon as possible, and it's up to us to try and do that. Let's see if this save will work out or not. But yeah, I think that was us kicking off first, and we're going to get a chance through a set piece here, and we immediately score. I thought it might have been a bit offside, but apparently not. And here's Mohamed Koli, who's got on the first goal for the club for the league, basically. And we're going to get another chance to see it here through the 3D. Nice little setting him up. I thought the goalkeeper saved it. Apparently he just hit it against the post. But thankfully, because the goalkeeper tried to save it, it was still on the floor. And we managed to get the first goal of the game on the rebound. And looks like we might get another chance here. It is Nonzuela who has to put a good ball into the box. Instead he puts a poor one there. And it is our opposition team on the counter. And that's an incredible goal from outside the box. I thought he wouldn't go until he ran all the way. But apparently he didn't need to rely on his pace. Instead, he just scores from outside the box. We're getting another chance to look at it here. What a ball. And my defender's in no man's land. God knows what goalkeeper's doing as well. Almost makes it there. But yeah, bit of a poor goal to concede on the counter. We are playing attacking football. So we're going to be more likely to be exposed. And it is another set piece for them here. And thank God that went over. Basically, that is their first clear-cut chance of the game. Apparently we've had two, and I think that was both of them was what ended up being the goal. And my opposition here are just growing into the game here as the longer they play. They're holding on to the ball a bit better, but we win it back. And it is Mazzarani who brings it forward. Scavoni, our key player, has to do something special here. He has a license to roam as a box-to-box midfielder, but instead he just loses the ball. And it is Sambenetesi who bring the ball forward. Just going to call them Samba. But yeah, centre-back getting dragged there, that's not good to see, and it's exactly what they exposed there, and my goalkeeper gets caught out for trying to come out for the ball, and suddenly we find ourselves 2-1 down, having scored the first goal of the game earlier on. And it looks like we're going to have to go a little bit more attacking here, so I'm just going to switch a couple of roles, see what my players can do, because we are being exposed at the back, and I'm hoping to see my front players perform. I know my defense isn't too great, but we shouldn't be conceding these type of goals here. Goalkeeper should do a little bit better there, but it's mainly just the defenders who getting caught out of position for some reason. I have to change the tactic to tell them to stick to positions a little bit more, because I've seen a lot of that throughout the friendlies too. But I think switching to playing a little bit more narrow during this game might help us to concede less, but we'll see how it goes. We have to try and score a second goal first before we make any changes. And yeah, it's only our centre-back who's gotten the goal there, so that's not pleasing either. Looks like we're going to go into half-time, I was going to say, without scoring a second, but we've managed to get a second through Collie, again, who scored the first goal of the game, and thankfully we're tying it as we go into the game, as we go into half-time. My players are still going to get told off. Pretty poor performance all around. God knows what their goalkeeper's doing. That's even worse than ours, but we'll take it. 2-2. We should be winning this game. And Mohamed Collie having an incredible game. I'm going to have to tell him off a little bit here. And kind of feel bad for Mohamed Collie considering how well he's performed. But he is on the yellow, and that's a little bit concerning since it's still early in the game. And we are the team who gets to kick off here. And we're going to get a chance to see whether my team can respond in the second half. We do have a throw-in here. And unfortunately, again, we lose the ball. But we do win it back through Scavone. And can we put a good ball into the box? Vacuo trying to set up his teammate there. Instead, he plays it in behind him. And we still do have the ball through our right back here. He puts an incredible ball into the box and we score immediately after half-time. And that's exactly what I want to see. I'm tempted to go a little bit more defensive, but since we switched to attacking roles, my teams have been a little bit better, and we haven't seen a single highlight go their way, and so we're going to keep a little bit more now. But what a cross that is, and what a goal, a volley. We're being treated here for today's game, but again, their goalkeeper's a little bit poor too. But yeah, expectations were for us to win, and so far we're matching expectations, but the game is far from over. As the clock ticks down, we're going to get another chance through a set piece. Can we score a third? Mohamed Collie unfortunately not being able to get onto the ball basically, but we are going to get another chance to put a ball into the box here, and he does really well, and it sets up Scavone, who I would have considered as a clear-cut chance, but unfortunately the match engine doesn't think so, and it was blocked by the opposition, and Scavone almost scoring through a set piece there again, but unfortunately doesn't amount to anything. And it's going to come up to the 60th minute here. I'm going to see if we need to make any more changes. No one's really incredibly tired here. A couple of quiet performances, but no one performing horribly. And I think we'll save the substitutions for a little later and see whether my team can keep up the performance that they've done so far. Incredible second half. They did good to end the first half, you know, as a draw. And as we come up to the 70th minute here, I'm tempted to go a little bit more defensive, but nothing of note here so far. And we're going to give Manuel a little rest. He's performed well, and he's a little bit tired, so it makes sense to take him off. And I don't know whether to take off these yellow cards or... Scavone's a little bit tired, so we'll bring him off too. See what he can do. And Mazzarani as well, our left midfielder. Bring on Andrea, the backup, Deloney, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I still haven't gotten used to the players' names yet. And maybe we can go on and have a bit more, perform a little bit better attacking-wise. I think I will go, sorry about that, a little bit more narrow soon, because we are trying to see out the game with the last 10 minutes here. But yeah, no highlights so far since that goal, I think. So we'll just keep it as is and hope nothing happens. One of their players, I think, has got a gashed leg, so that's in our favour. Their left back. We only need to hold on for a couple more minutes, and it looks like we might be able to do that, even though the commentator just said that they're going into attack mode. So yeah, the clock just ticking down here. Hopefully the last 15 seconds doesn't go their way, and instead it's just a pointless highlight. If that's the case, we've started off our season quite well with a win here. 3-2 win, not bad at all, and thankfully that looks like it will be the end of it, because one of their players for some reason just absolutely knocked her out. I think he's been paid off there, hasn't he? My assistant says that we should tell them that they didn't match expectations, or despite the result, but I think I should tell them good job considering I told them off in the half time, and we do go straight away to second. Plenty of other teams got games to play, and it will be up to them to try and catch up to us. Yeah, comeback win, not bad at all, and a good game for the first game of the season. This is a 20-team league. I don't know why I keep saying that. 20 teams in one league, so that means that it is just as the United say, where every team has to play against each other twice, and that will equal 238 games in total. So by the looks of it, it's going to be played a lot of it close to each other. As you can see here, our next game is only 3 days away, and just 2 days rest basically. I'm hoping it's not like that all season round, because I can't really rely on the rotation on my squad. Most of the great players on our team are first teamers. We can't allow backup players aren't really great just yet. But that's expected in lower league teams, and hopefully we can continue this run. As you can see, there's a bit of rest later on in the games. I think it's just these two that are close to each other. But yeah, in terms of who our rivals are for the season, we don't have any fierce rivals apparently, but we do have a couple of other rivals here. Juventus, namely, obviously, because of the history of it all. Of course, they used to compete for the titles, and I don't think there's anyone actually in our league. Okay, but this one's in Serie C, so I don't think, yeah, they're not in our league at all, even though they're in the same division, I guess you could say. And Modena are for sure, so that's going to be a game we can look forward to. Vicenza's Serie B, and these other two teams are in Serie A. But in terms of media expectation, they expect us to be second, and the rivals here for us would be Venezia, Reggiana, Modena, so our actual rivals there apparently got relegated last season, so they will be looking to bounce back essentially. It's only 2 teams who did get promoted last season into this league who are expected to go straight up again, and we are one of those teams. Looks like Venezia, who did have a little spell here in the Serie A, are another team who dropped down horribly, but they are climbing up and then they drop down again, so it's a bit of a mess, up down, but hopefully for us it's just all the way up. And I think that'll be all for today's episode. So if you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.